Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching. I am Mayank, I'm a PhD researcher working on nano devices. And in this episode of Monthly Dose of Insights, we have a lot to talk about. First, I would like to share some maths and physics from the movie Shawshank Redemption. I watched it recently again. I watched it 3 years ago, I think, for the first time. But this time I was thinking about the maths and if the physics work of digging that tunnel in 19 years. Anyways, we'll talk about that. Then a very interesting idea about how you can schedule or plan your day. I read this blog post from, I think it's from Paul Graham. It's called Manager Schedule and Maker Schedule. Very interesting idea. And I never thought about it this way. Then another interesting idea that I learned from Graham Weaver. He's a professor at Stanford, I think. And he says energy is not exhaustible. Basically, the idea is about how you can live your life to the fullest. Then a light idea that I learned from the book Chip War. It's been hanging around for a while. I started reading another book in between, but okay, I'm almost halfway through. I will try to finish it. But anyways, I learned something interesting in the book. I would share that. Then an idea from the book Daily Stoic. A very interesting idea that I would like to share. A fitness insight that I would also like to share in this video. Then another idea that I have from my experience. So there is a lot to share. Okay, let's get started. Your monthly dose of insights. Okay, the first idea that we are talking about is from the movie. We can start with that. Okay, we start with that movie. Okay, in the movie, if you have not seen it, I know it's going to be a spoiler for you. Okay, it's up to you if you want to skip this few minutes part or not. Anyways, in the movie, what happens is that Andy Dufresne, the character, tries to escape the jail, and in that process he digs a tunnel. I won't say it's a tunnel because it goes through a wall. He's basically scraping off small layers of wall to dig this. It's a tunnel, of course, but it's not downwards, it's like a vertical tunnel. Anyways, and he asks his friend Reed, played by Morgan Freeman, who who when who tries to get a pickaxe for him, and when he sees he sees the size of pickaxe, the character says that, oh, it will take 600 years to dig tunnel. And now I understand why Andy was joking about it. Anyways, but in 19 years Andy does it. So does the physics work? Does the math checks out? Okay. So I was sitting, I was idle last week. I was not doing anything in the night. I think it was around 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. I don't know. I was about to sleep, and then this question was clinging in my head. Does the math work? So I tried doing some rough calculation. So not imagine, the tunnel looked like roughly 10 meters to me, considering his height and how many times he moved his hands and things like that. His shoulders were touching the tunnel, so roughly, and the character played by, I don't know, I don't know the name of this actor, or maybe I know, I forgot. Anyways, so roughly it should be half a meter in my understanding. Of course, the tunnel was not circular perfectly, but I'm assuming the tunnel is a circle. So half a meter wide tunnel, 10 meters long. So that takes us the radius of zero point 0.5 meters, so 0.25 meters. That's basically a volume of 1.96 meter cube pi r square h. Basic maths, eighth grade, I think seventh grade maths. Anyways, so he has to basically remove roughly this 2 cubic meters of volume in order to dig this tunnel. Now, assuming the density of this sand, a mixture of concrete plus sand plus what bricks, roughly turns out around 1600 kilograms per meter cube. Okay, so that takes us to a weight of roughly 3000 kilograms, 3136 kilograms. That means if he digs roughly half a liter or 1 liter, between half a liter to 1 liter of volume every day, it will be roughly 19 years is roughly almost 7000 days, 6935 days. That means in this much time he will dig roughly, can you guess? Okay, I think you can guess, 5.2 meter cube, and all he needed was 1.96 meter cube of volume to be dug in order to escape. This is very interesting. One, that the physics works and the math works for this movie, at least, not like other Hollywood movies. Anyways, and another thing which is very important that I felt once I did this calculation, which I did not feel, which I felt during the movie as well, because the movie is in a way as inspiring, looking for a second chance in your life. But once I did this calculation, it hit me really hard that even if he dug alternate days, he would still make it in 19 years. That's interesting because once I did the calculation, I felt the dreams that you're thinking will take 600 years. They're hardly 20 years away. That's a factor of what, 30x. Of course, in real life, maybe it's the movie, so yeah, they exaggerate it. Maybe the factor is not 30x, but even if the factor is 5x or 3x, forget about that. That means the things that you're thinking that will take 10 years for you to achieve, they can be achieved in a span of 3.5 years, roughly 3.3 years. Okay, let's say 3.5 years. So you should dream, you should not give up on your dreams. Look, the maths is interesting. Anyways, I'm not trying to give you a motivation lecture, but if you try to do mathematics about things, it's something that I did when I started my PhD. My prof said my time adds up when you scale it on 150 weeks, because that's what roughly it takes to finish a PhD. That's what they ideally assume, but it usually takes around 180 to 200 weeks, roughly 4 years to finish a PhD. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Less is rare, more is more common. Anyways, but imagine if you work every day little more, half an hour or 1 hour more. Every week you add 7 hours, and then these 7 hours being added over a year, right? 300 that's roughly what, 350 hours. What if you add 7 hours a week? You have 50 weeks. Okay, yeah, that's roughly 350 hours. That's a lot. And then you scale it on 200 weeks, it becomes a lot. So anyways, the point is, small addition every day, it adds up. I also wrote something long ago. It was, I think I posted on Instagram long ago. I don't post that much on Instagram, but I always post some quotes here and there. I think it was called "Tiny steps taken consistently over a long period of time result in magic." Seems like it works. Anyways, okay, this was the fun part. And practical application, and a practical idea that I learned this month, I mean the last month, is called a maker's schedule and a manager's schedule. It's a blog post from Paul Graham. I will also put the link in the description if you want to read that. It's a very old blog. It's an idea, I think, that originates from startups, because I think he's an advisor who advises young startups how to manage things. And anyways, when they're still in the growth phase or figuring out how to take their product to the market or things like that. Anyways, the important point here is the manager's schedule is something that we all aspire towards. It's something in which you have a meeting from 9 to 10, then you have another meeting from 10 to 11, there's another meeting afterwards. So blocking your time, having meetings one after the other. It's something that we see, I as a student see my professor doing, or maybe if you're employed, you might be seeing your boss doing something like that. Or if you're a student, that's what's shown in everywhere. Everybody that you aspire to be, a CEO or any job, a manager, they all do the same thing. So in this case, you have meetings after the meetings. So you finish one, you go to the next one. This is the idea for a manager schedule. I'm breaking it down simply. And a maker's schedule would be in which you block your whole day. Let's say you're coding, or for me, writing the videos, or figuring out, or writing a manuscript for a research paper, things like that. I've noticed that when I'm on this maker's type of schedule, in which you have your whole day dedicated to you for this just one task, I'm far more productive compared to when I have a meeting scheduled late in the afternoon. Let's say I have a meeting at 2 o'clock. You go for lunch, let's say at 12 or 12:30, then you come back, there's an hour to go to the meeting, but it's very hard for you to focus on something because your brain is so occupied about this meeting that you stop working probably half an hour or even an hour before that meeting. Then you finish the meeting, you can't do anything for the next half an hour. Your brain is still in the meeting. In this kind of cases, you lose whole of your afternoon. And now if the meeting was scheduled, let's say at 2 o'clock, it finishes at 3:30, you can't do anything. And then you think, okay, I have to leave the office or my lab anyway, institute at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Yeah, the day is gone. In these kind of scenarios, you lose a lot of time. So what I'm noticing now, it's better to have, if on a particular day you have meetings, it's better to put all your meetings on the same day as much as possible, and then have free time for yourself in which you can focus for long period of time. For example, making these videos, it's very hard for me to finish writing a video, compiling all my thoughts that I have in my brain within 2 hours or 3 hours. Usually I record my videos on weekend and I spend the whole day for a particular video. Yeah, it takes time. So I go through my notes that I have for that video, the ideas that I would like to share. Then I figure out the storyline, figuring out what should be the title, what should be the thumbnail, how should the story flow. And then I usually record. Earlier I used to record in the night. Now I'm recording, let's say, in the afternoon. But yeah, inside in the room everything looks same. Anyways, so I I block almost my whole day, because if I have something else to do in the evening, here and there, my brain is not able to focus. If I have committed to, that I will meet this friend at 5 o'clock, and I have not been able to shoot my video by 3 o'clock, okay, even if the video is half an hour long, it takes far more than half an hour to record that video. You have to put the camera lights and focus and this and that. Audio is working fine and this is working fine. All those things. Anyway, if you have not recorded your video till 3, and if you have promised somebody that you will meet them at 5, the video will not be recorded on that day, because you'll come back, your brain will be in different state. It's hard for you to record now. So this is something that I've realized for myself. For creative jobs, for innovative tasks, for something which requires my full attention, I try to block my whole day for that task. And I've seen my writing has improved. I mean, scientific writing, this writing, anything that I would like to achieve, which is creative in a sense, it takes time and I block my whole day. So I put myself on maker's schedule. I was doing it partially, but after reading this, I realized, oh, yeah, this happens to all of us. Anyways, it's a tip that if you would like to use, you can use in your life. Or even for the assignments, if you're doing an assignment, it's better to put your attention completely on that day, do nothing else. Because once you get this flow state, once you reach that point where things start to flow, questions are being solved on your own, because now your brain is engaged, and then you have to go for the next thing. It will again take you those an additional 2 hours to come back and then start again and feel that rhythm going in. So up to you, but very important advice that I use in my life now since I read it, and it helps. So manage your schedule and make your schedule. Put your meetings usually on a same day, and keep your creative task on another day. And everything is creative, by the way. Solving these equations is creative. Writing a YouTube video is creative task. Writing a code is a creative task in a sense, because it requires attention and also a sort of creativity, thinking about problem solving. Okay, after a long time, last month I watched this very nice video from a Stanford professor. I'm not sure if he's a professor or just a lecturer who gives talks here and there, but I think he is. You can check out. His name is Graham Weaver. And the YouTube video that I watched from him, I forgot what was the name, but I'll put it here somewhere. I think it was about how to live your life fullest. The idea was about the fact that energy is non-exhaustible. What do I mean by that? He's trying to say that once you find something that you love, you will not feel tired. I give you a personal example, or something simpler example that we can experience in our lives. Let's say you love someone and you kiss them today. Does it make you less capable of kissing them tomorrow? Another example. Let's say you have a pet. You play with your pet today. Does it make you less capable of playing with your pet tomorrow? No, right? So, exhaustion or brain fatigue or kind of this burnout comes from the fact that there is a friction as in you want to achieve something or you want to do something else in your life, but you have to do something else, and this creates this friction, and friction makes you tired. Of course, once you find something, there are two things. Of course, finding something that you love, we all have our limitations that are that we all have because of our families where we are born. The responsibilities on us, so you have to do something that you would not like to do in an ideal scenario, but of course the responsibilities are there, so you have to do those things. I totally understand that. So it's not that easy to go from something in which you have friction to something in which you have very little friction. So that means something that you don't like to something that you like. I agree. And even if you find something that you truly love, there'll still be friction, but far less, maybe few orders of magnitude less than what it was in something that you don't like doing. So those two limitations are there, of course, but once you find something that you love, I think life becomes easy. And what he's trying to say in the video is that um, you should not give up on your dreams. I mean, this is my interpretation. He said something else. Anyways, this is what I felt, that you should try doing things that you would like to do, maybe not at the scale at which you would like to do, maybe at a smaller scale. Why not? For example, I like sharing ideas. I i i loved when I used to teach kids back in the day. So I'm making these videos. Of course, they are not at the scale at which I would like to have them, uh, because of course I'm not making videos just for myself. I'm making videos for people. I want people to watch them. I want people to take ideas from my videos. I want them to apply them. I want to add something meaningful to their life. Maybe half a percent, that doesn't matter, but I want to add something to their life. Because if I would be lying if I would say that I don't want you to watch my videos. I don't want subscribers. I do want them, of course. If I don't want them, then why I'm posting my videos on YouTube? I can record them and keep them on my laptop. There's no point. So sometimes it's hard to do the things that you love at the scale at which you would like to do, because I also have my own responsibility of being a PhD student. The life is quite occupied with the work, but I'm trying to do at a smaller scale, and that gives me joy. It's something that I look forward to every week or every weekend when I have to record a video. I look forward to that, and as long as it's exciting, I would keep doing it. And once it becomes less exciting, I will switch the topics. I'll pick up something else. But I like doing this. So I'll figure out a way of doing it. Don't worry, guys. It will be hard for you to get rid of me. Anyways, so what he's trying to say, that try to find something that you really like. It's going to be hard, I understand, but maybe do it at a smaller scale than the scale at which you would like to have it. But tiny steps are better than no steps. Okay, then a fun idea, fun or something that we don't think about in our lives, that I felt during reading this book. I felt a lot of things during reading this book. Let me know if you look. I cannot produce a video on this book because it will require a lot of animations, a lot, and I don't think I can do that part. But if you want me to summarize key ideas that I learned from the book, that I can do for you. So let me know if you want me to summarize key ideas from this book, maybe 5 or 7 key ideas that I learned. I can do that, because that would not require that much animation, because if I have to do a proper video on this, and this is something I understand, it's not like, of course I work on nanotechnology, I am making nano devices, and part of my work, I would say a big chunk of my work, is towards data storage, how magnetism can be used to store bits and things like that. So I really want to make a video, but the problem is, yeah, of course, the animation. But I can summarize the key ideas from the book. Anyways, one idea that hit me, I had this idea before, but during reading this book, it hit me even more, which is about technological progress. We just assume that the next iPhone appears next year, or the next Galaxy S device comes next year, or every year the processing power improves by 20%, the heating is 20% less, and this and that. Science doesn't work that way, let me tell you. And it's all the companies are fooling you in a sense. Let me tell you, look. So, what example I should use? Okay, let's take this example. I published a paper recently. That work took me almost 2 years to finish. But for the first 1.5 years, it was all optimizing. There was no device working, and this and that. You just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. At some point, the devices are optimized and then they start working. But if I was a smartphone company, I have to show some progress every year. How do you show progress if your devices are not working? You get the point? So, not every year the chips become 20% smarter or 20% more efficient. It doesn't work like that. Technological progress takes time and it's unpredictable. You never know when the breakthrough will come. You are trying for 5 years and the breakthrough doesn't appear. Give me a second. And then a particular year the breakthrough comes. So, but the companies have to sell the progress in a linear fashion. So what happens? Let's say you get a breakthrough in manufacturing, let's say, and now you can reduce the size of transistor by half a nanometer. But this will improve the performance by 30%, 35%. What they do, they split this 35% into two parts. So this year the progress, they'll say that the processor will improve by 20%, next year again 20%, but the growth was in a big chunk of 35%. And also, the hardware improvement is not same as software improvement. Now most of the progress that you see in the performance is coming from software. It's not coming from hardware, because we are very close, or not close. We are already on the limits how small you can make the transistor, and it's becoming almost impossible now to break this barrier. Now that's why we are looking for new ways to make transistor or new types of computing. Anyways, I don't want to go into detail, but the thing is, this linear growth that has been shown, it has saturated. If you look deeply, okay, it will be so much. Anyways, if you look deeply in the last, I would say not even this year, last 15-20 years, the hardware progress has been slow. It's the software which is making the progress. Transistor size were reduced significantly every decade, from 60s to 70s to 80s to 90s. But then we reached almost to the nanometer scale, and now it's becoming difficult. There are multiple effects. There's leakage, the gate don't work, the dielectric has to be certain thickness in order to break the in order to be used as a dielectric for the gate. Anyways, if you know a little bit, you know, it's too much science. Anyways, the point is, this hardware progress has stopped, more or less. The software is giving you improvements, but both them are not same. But companies have to sell something, so they sell. And also these stupid things that you would notice. I don't want to take the name of a company, but the big companies are also doing this. This year we have 35% improvement on our processors. Okay, the bar for 2024 will look like this. So a 35 improvement on this bar should be something like this, no? So if this is this, it should be a third of it more, right? So, but if you see the plots, 35% progress on this bar looks like this. How? That's 3x, not 35%. 35% is a third of this on top of it, not this. This is 3x. They make fool out of people. And big companies are doing that. Data manipulation, or data manipulation in terms of representation. Anyways, the important point here to understand is that technological progress is non-linear. It's not linear, but our brains, the human brains, like linear progress, right? If you're building a road, you want to make 10 kilometers of road today, 10 kilometers of road tomorrow. It will be very absurd for you to think, okay, on the first year you made 10 kilometers of road, then in the next day you made 200 kilometers road, right? Because Making a road is a technology, is a manufacturing process that we have figured out already. There's no innovation in that. There is innovation, of course. People are trying different ways of using plastic as road material, anyways. But the conventional method of making a road using coal and tar, that has been already figured out. So applying that every day at a consistent pace is easy. But technological progress, when you're already on the edge of the knowledge that you have, edge of the innovation, edge of the current manufacturing process that you have, then this cannot be linear. This is discrete steps. Once somebody gets an idea, they apply, they try, and then the innovation comes. So be very careful. Okay, it's been so much science. Let's talk about something love, something something fun. Okay, I want to read something. Listen very carefully. Happy is the person who can improve others, not only when present, but even in their thoughts. Happy is the person who can improve others, not only when present, but even when in their thoughts. This was the Stoic lesson on, I think, 10th of March. I mark some of them. So I read it every day, but I marked some of them which I really like. They hit hard. This was so deep. It did hit me really hard. What the author, or I mean the philosopher, is trying to say here is that there are people in our lives who make us better when they're around us. Then there are people in our life who make us better even when they're not around us. Just their memory, just the way, just the very thought of them makes us do better things, makes us be a better human. um, and it did hit me really hard, because I get this feeling a lot of time when you think about of a particular friend or your parent or partner or anybody, and you're about to take an action which is not right. I won't say wrong or right, on but I would say maybe something you're about to do that you would not like them to see. And then their thought comes in your head, and then you're thinking, yeah, this friend would not like to see me doing this. And then you stop that. It's 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 very deep. Once you have these kind of connections, whether it's with your parents or your friends or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, it's it's something that makes you a better human. It's as simple as that. I don't know if you have felt it, maybe you can resonate. If you've not felt it, um, it will come in your life. Once you have people who trust in you, who, I don't know, it's a feeling of, it's very hard to put into words, but it's a feeling where, yeah, I think he has put into words much better than I could. There's no point me trying. But it's just a feeling where you are about to do something, all your actions, it's like if you have a universal watcher watching you, you try to be a better human, which is the idea of God in a sense. All the religions use this idea in a sense that Hindus use the idea of karma, Christians have the idea of sins, and I think it's in every religion. It's the same, that somebody universal being who can see every human every second is watching us, and it's but this idea originates from fear that somebody is watching you, so you should be a good person. But this is in higher level, I feel, because this does not originate from fear, it originates from love. The the fact that their love makes you be a better human. This is in a way not forced, but it's in a way an inspiration. Their love inspires you to be a better human, whereas in that case it's the fear that somebody is watching you, so you should be a better human, or you should be a good person. I don't know. I would personally like to have this idea. It's personal preference, but I like this one more, where their love inspires you to be a better human. Okay, I don't know how long it's been. I think it's been too long. Should we finish it here? I wanted to share, okay, a quick fitness idea. In the last video, some of you did ask me about my fitness routine. And that would be a very long video because I have to share everything that I've learned in the last decade. I've been reading a lot about health, fitness, exercise, sleep, diet, everything in the last more than a decade now. I started reading about it in 2014 15ish. So, more or less a decade. Anyways, a pro tip that I used during my bachelor's is to make it easy for you to eat healthy. What do I mean by that? Don't try to fix your whole day. Start with just one thing. What I did is that in the evening in my hostel we used to get some snacks, which would be something fried or something oily. It used to be something fried or something because kids love that. And what I did as an alternate to that, I made it easy for me to eat healthy. What I used to keep in my room is brown bread, some banana, nuts, and some snack. So I would tell myself, but it doesn't work on anybody. Why I'm laughing, I'll tell you. So I would tell myself that I would eat nuts, a banana or a fruit, right? And then if I feel like I'll just eat a slice of bread with butter or something, and then I'll eat a small piece of this snack. A snack could be a savory or a sweet or something, or a small piece. I had a really good friend of mine, he's still my friend, and our rooms were next to each other. We would buy a pack of this snack or any snack together. My snack would last a month maybe because I know how much I eat. So let's say I buy a pack of something, a savory snack which has, I don't know, 100 gram or 200 gram pack of it. I know I would eat 20 grams of it a day hardly, or 10 grams of it at max. We would buy the same day. 2 days later, we're going out or doing something, and this friend of mine is like, "Yeah, I need to buy another one." I'm like, "What?" So he would finish it in a day. So the bananas and the breads will be lying around, but the snack will be gone. So the idea doesn't work on anyone. So everyone, sorry, but it did work on me. You can try doing that. The idea is simple. This is one aspect of it, but what I'm trying to say in general is that you should uh, try to make it easy for you to eat healthy. It's simple as that. Because unhealthy stuff is easily available in every store. So you should carry something healthy with you. Because the moment you eat 30 grams of nuts, whether almonds or walnut or cashew or whatever, or pistachios, your stomach will be so much full. Because I think, okay, 30 grams. So ideally, you should eat roughly 30 grams of nuts, which is 1 ounce, which is how much you get in one handful, roughly. Yeah, based on hand to hand, my handful will be maybe 35 grams. If you have smaller hands, maybe it's 25 grams. Anyways, but you should eat that much. That contains around about 200 calories, a good amount of healthy fat. So once you eat that, you will already be so full that this craving that you have to eat something, it will be suppressed anyway. So even if you eat the snack afterwards, you will eat small amount of this snack relative to what you would have eaten before. Not for my friend, but anyways, maybe it works for you. It works for me. Probably it works for you as well. Okay, that was it. Let me know how you like it. Have a good one, guys. See you on the next one. Have a good day. Enjoy this time. I'll be bringing out more videos very soon. I've been a little bit busy and not been able to produce consistently, but they're coming out soon. See you guys. See you on the next one.